This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Kristen McQuarrie from the Tribune editorial board. And Kristen, State of the Union speech the president gave Tuesday night, as we've discussed, was really a storytelling exercise using actual human beings and their, at least a portion of their life story, to illustrate policy positions he's taking to address issues that are important to Americans, border security, national security on the kind of the international stage with respect to totalitarian threats like North Korea. And also economic policy with respect to, for example, the small business operator that he identified and the story of, I think his name was Corey, right, the welder?
Correct.
Identifying individuals to highlight kind of the entrepreneurial spirit and the value of hard work, and hard work gets you ahead in America. That's still the case. Not a lot on policy, and to the extent that he mentioned anything on his economic policy agenda for 2018, it was very at the top line level. For example, $1.5 trillion infrastructure program. So that means we have to get into the weeds and read the tea leaves and provide insights that get beyond the headlines. And to do that, we need experts. And one of those experts who is also a Jeopardy champion.
I know. This is the introduction.
Jeopardy,
each time. He's
Jeopardy
never going to live it down.
He's also a Northwestern graduate. I suspect that he's more proud about being a Jeopardy champion than a Northwestern graduate. I certainly would be. And he's a CNBC contributor, and you can get his musings on economic policy at American Enterprise Institute as well, where he is a scholar. He is Jim Pethokoukis, who joins us now. Jim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I am extraordinarily proud to be a Northwestern University graduate. Also a master's degree at Northwestern as well, so they have a lot more of my money, and I'm a sports trivia bowl champion from Northwestern.
Wow.
All of which I value more highly than my Jeopardy win.
You got a full trophy case, and I know because you're sucking up to Northwestern, you're just angling for one of those commencement addresses. I get it. You want to raise the profile. I got it. Tone it down. Jim, so about the President's State of the Union speech, specific on economic policy, because that's your core focus.
Sure.
The infrastructure program, obviously a bit of a victory lap on the tax cuts, not a lot more than that.
Yeah, if you were looking for a sort of a detailed idea of what is going to go on for the rest of this year, and this could be, the last year in which the president has his party in control of both the House and the Senate. So, I would really try, if I was him, I'd really try to make this a policy-heavy year. It's unclear. It was the infrastructure, which he's been talking about even during the campaign. The numbers keep going up as far as how much he would like to spend. The details keep going down. We're sort of getting less detail on what that would actually look like. So I'm not really, and he's already said, the president has already said he didn't mention it at all during the speech what he wants to do about spending and debt and entitlements and Medicare, Social Security, formerly the core of the Republican agenda. So that part's all a little bit fuzzy. So what you really are left with is a lot of anecdotes and, boy, isn't the stock market doing great.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, so based on your last column and your kind of, I don't know if you would call it criticism of that, do you think, I tend to think of Trump's base as also being sort of deficit hawks, and that they won't let him, and they won't let his followers in the GOP get away with straying from that longstanding position of watching spending and trying to shrink the size of government. Do you disagree with that?
I don't think so. They just voted for someone who made it clear that he doesn't care about certainly entitlement reform. Their voters, and given that the voters are getting older, they may also care a lot less about entitlement reform. That's sort of the good spending. For them, the bad spending is spending on Medicaid, income support programs, money they feel like is going toward, Democratic voters rather than Republican voters, older people. So I'm not sure they really care that much about it anymore. I've certainly seen no evidence that they at all care about having a president who seems to not care about it. In fact, says that he loves debt, loves to play with debt. I just think that's just not a relevant issue for Republicans right now. Probably, I think, like forever.
The way that Steve Moore describes it, and he's certainly not oblivious to entitlements and unfunded liabilities and the like, is that basically the Republicans have made a conscious choice to be a growth party, and that has subordinated conversations about debt load and entitlement and unfunded entitlement liabilities.
Yeah, well, the assumption that Steve makes is that debt is irrelevant to growth, that it really doesn't, that we've had a national debt as a share of the economy, which has doubled since 2007. It's on a projection to double again over the next generation. And the gamble that he's making is that is irrelevant. That won't affect interest rates, won't affect growth, and we'll see if he's right. I don't think it's a gamble you need to take, but it's one Republicans I think are choosing to take, and I don't expect anything to get done that is going to really reduce government spending, put those programs on a more sustainable path. I don't think anything. I just don't think that's. I think Steve very much represents from that perspective what Republicans are thinking, which is, interest rates are low, the doubling of debt hasn't hurt much, let it ride.
But the deregulation, effectively, the net is deregulation. I mean, substantially in the first year of President Trump, combined with the tax cuts, seems to be paying dividends in the early part of 2018. Would you agree?
I don't think we know yet. Listen, the whole theory of how all this is supposed to work is that all these changes will change incentives to work, save, and invest, and that's going to take time. Anything you're seeing happening right now, I would credit less to really policy changes than I would, the fact that every economy in the world seems to be going up right now, and I don't think they care too much about what we're doing at the EPA. And two, there's other things. Listen, Dan, I know you love focusing on government, but there also is a private sector.
No, I understand.
I know you're a government guy. You're a government guy, but the private sector is also doing things. We have these great tech companies, AI companies are adopting these technologies.
Sure.
Other things are happening other than government, Dan.
No, I know, but it's all, I understand. Look.
You're obsessed.
I understand. I understand that we're, paying Elon Musk to come up with pneumatic tubes we can travel in. I get that.
Buy yourself a flamethrower and be happy. Buy yourself a flamethrower, use it in the backyard, be happy.
But okay, so let's go to the private sector then, Mr. Private Sector. And so give us your insight, since this is all very mysterious, about this health insurance play from Berkshire Hathaway and Amazon and J.P. Morgan that was kind of announced without detail this week and set the market and the health insurance stocks into a tizzy. What's going on there?
Yeah, I'll tell you. When we talk about weak growth and sort of weak productivity growth, one reason is that a big chunk of the economy and a growing chunk is healthcare. It's a sector without great productivity growth. It's a sector that has sort of been immune to the technological revolution and digitization. So I'd be very curious to see how this is going to work out. But of course, all the people out there who sort of hate these tech companies, hate Google and Amazon and Facebook and big tech, they're sad about this. And even if we're able to come up with a better way of doing health insurance, they'll still be unhappy about it. I think this is a great experiment, a great effort at private sector innovation. I'm excited to see what happens next.
But I mean, do you have any indication of what their actual play is? Is it to set up their own kind of pool? Or I mean, I know, but the combined between them, they got 1 million employees. They certainly could.
Well, yeah. So it's actually a pretty big chunk of people. And I think one thing they're going to do is they're going to try to bring technology to bear. These sort of electronic health records, which has sort of been happening in fits and stops. Other technologies, I think they're going to try to finally bring some actual progress into this sector and some modernization and see if that helps. Lord knows we need more of it. And listen, this sector is not going away. It's a big and growing sector. And if we don't get more innovation out of that sector, it makes all these other problems with the budget that we're talking about a lot worse.
Apple just had its best quarter ever, right?
I know. Well, bad news for the tech haters, Dan.
I'm not a tech hater.
This is terrible news for them.
You can distinguish between Tim Cook's politics and Tim Cook and Apple's products. I certainly can. I'm not say Apple should go away.
The activists can't.
Well,
the activists cannot because they view these are so big and powerful that they've subverted democracy. They're hurting the economy. Don't like your iPhone, as they're saying. Fall out of love with your iPhone. Don't talk to Alexa. That's what these guys are saying.
She's dangerous.
She's got a smart mouth, that Alexa.
I like when she's
sassy.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely sassy on my phone. I want to get back to the spending issue because I do think it's something that Republicans are vulnerable on. And because he didn't mention it in the speech, it's picking up steam. There's more momentum. But when you have somebody like Mick Mulvaney as your budget guy, isn't there hope for actual shrinking of government? Because I do think that if we don't see some sort of attention paid to the deficit, it will hurt Republicans. You don't?
I don't know. I think when they talk about spending and the deficits, I think oftentimes they're just using it as shorthand for sort of general economic malaise and the economy was bad, in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and deficits were going up, and they tend to link the two. I think for most people it's still pretty abstract, and if the unemployment rate at the end of this year is 3.5%, and the stock market's going up and people's 401ks, I don't think people care what the debt to GDP ratio is.
Poor Rand Paul. Poor Rand Paul.
We'll see if markets care.
All right. He is the great defender of the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. He is Jimmy Pethokoukis, CNBC contributor, columnist for American Enterprise Institute. James, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care. And you join us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.